What is going on? Long time no see. I'm gonna start doing a little bit more educational, formal, like type, not formal, but like you know what I mean, like this type of content on YouTube channel. And this is also a perfect announcement. I am going to be starting a podcast with my hometown friend Carter Runge, and it's gonna be about nutrition and fitness and all that good stuff. It's gonna be called the Optimal Nutrition Podcast, but also fitness included because both those go hand in hand. But hopefully you guys like all this stuff that I'm gonna be doing here, and also too, just like and subscribe means a lot to me and everything else. So whatever you want to do is fine by me, and not to get too long into here, but this is the first video, so let me get into it. Today is a simple guide to lose fat, a sustainable and efficient and healthy way. Like I said before, I don't know if I said before, I'm Luke Dirog. I'm a nutrition and dietetics student at South Dakota State University, and I've just had a long history of loving nutrition and loving fitness. So this was my passion, and I've spent tons of time researching, tons of time in the classroom, tons of time in the gym. So here is basically my quick comprehensive guide of what I believe to be a very simple and efficient way of losing fat and keeping it and having it sustainable. So to basically start off, we're going to do knowing the basic nutrition. So we have a little few blocks to get through in order to continue our way down through this slideshow that I created. So basically starting off, we have the three macronutrients. We have carbohydrates, we have protein, and we have fat. Carbohydrates, the main source of fuel, glucose, that is used by our brain, by our muscle, basically everywhere. That is our main source of energy. It is stored in our body as glycogen, muscle glycogen, and liver glycogen. So it is used as energy, stored in there, and then it is used as energy when needed. Protein, basic building blocks, amino acids, and that won't provide much energy for us, but it has a bunch of other things: hair, skin, and nails, neural adaptations, muscle building, the whole shebang. Then we can get into our fat. Fat is a fat storage for energy and also can be used as energy. Like I said, it is fat storage or can be used. Basic hormone productions, basic hormone support, and like I said, fat storage. So like I said, there's gluconeogenesis that can help create energy out of fat. So, but our main drivers of energy are carbohydrates. Now, moving on, the vitamins and minerals. They are inside foods. They are the basic building blocks of foods. Like I said, they are things you really need to start tracking, not need to track fully, but keep in mind of when you're starting your diet. Vitamins play vital roles in our basic body functions, and if you can create deficiencies and create very bad outcomes that come out of this. Same thing with minerals, like your electrolytes and stuff like that. You want to be making sure that you're keeping those in check as well. Going into calories and serving sizes, I'm not saying like in a daily thing. I'm talking about just serving sizes with food. So you want to keep in mind calories, and certain foods have certain calories with certain serving sizes. So like I said, with serving sizes, meats, for example, a lot of time go by ounces, and you can either have those a raw serving size or a cooked serving size. Like I said, most of the time it's raw, but some people do theirs cooked. You do you. If you track one thing raw, track everything else raw. You know what I mean? Like meats wise. But if you track it cooked, track it cooked. You know what I mean? Keep it consistent. But different things have different calories. And like I said, with calories, going back to protein, carbs, and fat, carbs and protein contain 4 calories per 1 gram. So 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. Then fat is 9 grams per calorie. And then also, 9 calories per gram, sorry. And then alcohol is 7 calories per gram. But we don't drink alcohol here. And then going on the serving sizes, like I said, most meats are in ounces. Fruits and vegetables are usually in cups, and like fats and stuff like that, like the oils, are usually in tablespoons, but some people do it in grams too, or milliliters. Other stuff like those carbohydrates are usually in ounces or cups as well, and same thing with like nuts and stuff like that. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that too. Weighing your food. With the proper ways of dieting, you need to weigh your food. And by weighing your food is you get a basic food scale. that has ounces, fluid ounces, grams, whatever. It has all the shebang on there. You can probably get one at Walmart for $10 to $20, like depending on like the coolness of it. But just get the ones that just say the grams on there. You don't need those fake ones that say like, oh, you can have, it'll show you the exact like nutrient profile. Like that has to have a data system. And if it's not the right thing, like it's fake. Like that can very, very, very badly mess with your mind and perception of the food. But you're weighing everything that comes down to sauces, that comes down to any oils you use, any of the foods you eat. I'm not talking about like weighing your diet soda. Like, no. Okay. If it's like Tabasco sauce, you're not going to be weighing that out. Like, if it has a decent amount of calories, like I say, like some sauces, for example, we'll get away with saying a serving size is only 10 calories, but it's literally 10 milliliters or 10 grams worth of sauce. So you put 100 calories worth of it on there and you don't even know. So that's why weighing everything is consistently key. All right, now getting into the meat and potatoes here. We got our first step here, which is finding and estimating your daily expenditure. And what I mean by that is, well, let's go to step one first. First, you're going to want to go on your internet. If you have internet access, of course, if you're watching this video, you have to have internet access. So I don't know why you'd be on here without internet access, but let's just move on. Like I said, you're gonna search total daily energy expenditure, or your TDEE, and that will be the total daily energy expenditure calculator. And like I said, in the smaller lighting, this will come up again. So keep this in mind. And what you're going to do here is like a basic info sheet right here. You're going to enter your anthropometric data and your activity levels, meaning your height, weight, age, and then your activity levels. And it'll give you an option between like 5 of them or 6 of them. Sedentary, like an office job, being like the least active, and then athlete, like 2 times a day activity exercises. So yeah, that's gonna be your highest energy needs. And then basically it's gonna spit out a number. Well, let's just say it gave you 2,900 calories. And that's going to be your estimated average or your maintenance. So basically, what I kind of like doing is I don't want to take that number exactly and keep that as your tried and true number as your maintenance. I honestly go 100. I go 100 calories below that just to be safe for the next portion of adjusting. So you investigate in your estimated maintenance calories. So I would say be 100 calories under that. So if it was 2,900, let's just say 2,800, just to make sure. And then we're going to adjust the goals as needed. Like I said, if the goal is fat loss, we're going to adjust from there and lower the calories so we're in a calorie deficit. Step 2, foods and calories for your diet. So this thing is a little tricky when it comes to certain people, but trust me, it is not that tricky when you kind of just get an understanding of it a little bit. So basically, the foods that you'll need for your diet are whole foods, any packaged goods, or any foods that you enjoy. So basically, a quick term of saying it is what you need and what you like. I'm not going to say that you only can eat whole foods. You can only eat the foods that like are consistent with dieting and that would like, they're like the foods, like I say, like chicken and rice in quotes. Like, no, like you can still have, if you enjoy, like, let's just say like for me, I enjoy Cliff bars and I enjoy the kid ones, the Z bars. Like those things are mostly carbohydrates and fat, like very minimal protein, but I enjoy those a lot. So I find a way to fix those into my diet, mostly pre-workout or post-workout with the carbohydrate content, but you don't need to get into that. I'm just using this as an example, but it's good to keep foods that you still enjoy into your diet. Obviously, some foods are not supposed to be in your diet if you're in like a dieting phase, but you get what I mean. Like I said, what you need and what you like. And then you're going to set your calorie goal for fat loss. Like I said before, you're going to want to be below your maintenance, which is roughly 500 calories. But I'm not just going to say, all right, like I said, the 2,900. So then I like going below that. So say 2,800 is your maintenance. I'm not going to say eat 2,300. I'm like, yeah, you could honestly eat 2,800 and see what your activity levels are like and what that would do. And if you lose weight, that's perfect. Like then you know your activity levels are high enough and you're in like somewhat of a caloric deficit through your activity levels and your maintenance. But like, again, I wouldn't say that's a good idea, but saying 500 calories below your maintenance is just a rough estimate of what I would say is a good idea. It could be 400, it could be 300, it could be 600, 700. But let's just say the steeper of a deficit you are, the harder it is to be sustainable. So that's why I say roughly 500 calories below maintenance. And then you're going to plan on times to eat. This helps a ton with consistency. over time, as you get through your diet, as you get week by week, the times you eat your meals will be synonymous with your brain. So your brain just tends to start knowing when you're hungry and when you eat, and it starts associating that when you're hungry. So if you can have consistent meal times, your body just knows when it's time to eat, and that hunger signaling can decrease from over like at random times throughout the day. Obviously, sleep is involved with this as well, like bad sleep and random things. So that take that with a grain of salt, but that does help with consistency in grow and release control. Next is meeting protein, fat, and carbohydrate goals. Just a little background on that. Like too little fat, women can lose their periods a lot, decreased sex hormone production and libido in men. And then with protein, muscle mass loss, neural adaptation loss, hair, skin, and nail health, it will decrease. A lot of problems can grow with too little protein. And then fiber, our recommended dietary intake for men is about 38 grams a day, and women is about 25 grams a day. I believe like 1 out of every like 9 people meet that. I barely even reach 35 a day. I think I average about 31. So that's still really good, but even I'm not even getting there. So I'll introduce some foods later on to where that they have lots of high fiber and you can reach your goals. And then drinks, diet drinks, water, low calorie drinks, anything that's basically 0 calories or water. When you start getting into drinks that are, around 40, 50 calories, like, a couple of those can add up into a day. So that's why I always say, going back to what you need and what you like. If you like Olipop, for example, and that has fiber as well. Those have about 8 grams of fiber per 12-ounce can, I believe, or maybe a little bit less, but it still has fiber in it. That's a prebiotic soda, and it does have about 40 to 60 calories. Let's just say you had about 3 of those in a day. Like, that's calories that add up. So you would want to make sure you are having those calories supported within your diet plan and your tracking, so you know exactly how much calories you're consuming drink wise and food wise. And then step 2 continued, just some things to avoid food wise or whatever. Ultra processed foods, I kind of put no S word, like no crap. Ultra processed foods, meaning like anything like fast food, any of that stuff that's not really health oriented. Like, don't get me wrong, like not a lot of things are health oriented, but I think you can understand when I say ultra processed foods, you know what I mean. And then full sugar soda, that's just that's just sugar bomb, like I said, no nutritional value. Like I say, exceptions, of course, for fruit juices and candy. I honestly should have that for soda, because I'm not going to say soda's awful for you, because there's people like, I'm saying this for general population, full sugar soda is not good. But there's people that have just, or maybe are athletes, like endurance athletes that are running tons of miles a day. Like, they might not be able to get enough food in. So they literally might just have to drink pop to get enough carbohydrates to support their body and support their training. That's like an exception I'm talking about. Like, but the average person in the gen pop that is 60 pounds overweight, yeah, they can switch out to diet soda and stay with diet soda. Fruit juices, like I said, exceptions, of course. Like, if you really like fruit juice, like, I would just limit it to about like 4 to 8 ounces a day, because they're just calorically dense, devoid of any fiber and nutrients, any other nutrients or other stuff that's in there, like the minerals usually that are with the whole fruit. It's just really, I don't want to say really processed, but it's more processed and takes out a lot of the nutrients that you want from actual whole fruit, and the fact that it doesn't fill you up, because fruit has the fiber and you physically have to chew and eat the food, and it's usually in smaller bits. You're picking it time by time. It takes longer to eat, so you'll feel full. Candy, like I said, it's devoid of any nutrients, literally just sugar. And like I said, like an athlete that needs to meet their caloric requirements and their carbohydrate requirements, but can't eat any more clean food, candy is a good option for them. Whoa, sorry about that. Got to give you a little sneak peek. But excessive red meat intake, and that kind of goes along with fat intake, but excessive red meat intake, it's a lot of saturated fat. And I put a little meta-analysis of, I believe it was 20 studies, 20 randomized control studies, and they found all of them came to conclusion that a reduction of saturated fat intake over the course of 2 years had great impact on their cholesterol levels in a positive way. So we can obviously see a correlation with saturated intake being high, and cardiovascular disease. So I like to limit my red meat intake to about 1 meal a day, and it's usually around 4 to 8 ounces of red meat, and it's a lean red meat. I never go fatter than 93.7, and the meat I have is from a farm that's local near my house to where it's around 96.4. And it doesn't matter if it's grass-fed, anything like that. Conventional beef is fine. Grass-fed, organic. If you cannot afford it, I say don't buy it because there's no nutritional added value. And it's more so just for the farming and animal practices that they use. And if you support that and you feel better eating that stuff, by all means, purchase it. But if you do not have the money for it, please do not buy it. It is just a luxury tax, I feel like. And there's no nutritional value. It's no common proof that it shows that it has any positive health benefits over the conventional fruits, vegetables, and meats. So save your money. I believe organics around 49% more expensive, and sometimes they just use more pesticides in the organic crops than they do the conventional crops because they have to do that. They're like the conventional pesticides are sprayed, but they're also regulated to enough where it's not going to be any residues in your food. Like people constantly say glyphosates in your oatmeal, even though you look at the glyphosate content in oatmeal, it's little to none. And if it was any, it all gets peed out into your out of your body. So that's just stuff you don't have to worry about. And then going on, like I said, with the red meat intake is the excessive fat intake. Excessive nut butter intake is along with pair with that. Nut butters, peanut butter, almond butter, macadamia nut butter, all those. Those all have just insanely high fat contents, and they're super easy to overeat. Take a spoonful of peanut butter, you don't know how much it is, and you eat it, you should be tracking that, or any sort of nut butter. So I always say, take the jar of whatever nut butter you have, set it on the scale, zero it out, take your spoon it out, because then you know exactly that is the amount that you want, and you can lick the spoon too. There you go, win-win. All right, then here's some foods you should include into your diet. First off, potatoes, insane vitamin C, insane potassium, because the American diet is way too high in sodium and way too little in potassium. And those two work in tandem together. Sodium is high inside the cell, potassium is high outside the cell. And the American diet is way too much sodium. So we're driving intramuscular fluid to go into our body and into our cells subcutaneously under our skin, causing water retention more. Potassium drives water out of the kidneys, out of your body, and pushes water out. So, like I always say, if you want to de-bloat, think high potassium. Well, you should be thinking high potassium no matter what, because you're probably deficient in it. Like I said before, I think vitamin C, potatoes are high in, and they're also high in fiber, and they're a very satiating carb source. So I highly recommend having potatoes basically every single day if you are in a cut or a slash deficit. Lean red meat 4 meals a week minimum. Like I said before, limit to 4 to 8 ounces a day or 4 to 8 ounces a meal. And I would not do it more than once a day. I would say 4 times a week minimum, 7 times a week maximum. Next is eggs. 1 to 2 a day is perfectly fine. You can do 3 if you want. You can do 4, 5, 6 if you want. It's just going to come down the cost. And also fat intake as well could mess with your digestion. High fat intake equals, that's what I also forgot to say that too. Going back to the excessive fat intake, you want your digestion to be prime. You don't want to have a crap digestion. So having an insanely high fat intake can slow digestion a lot, and it can cause people to be really backed up and stuff like that. So like I said, keeping eggs to 1 to 2 a day might be great. 1 egg is about 5 grams of fat. So you can see where I'm going with this. If you had 6 eggs, 6 times 5, 30 grams of fat, that could back you up in the morning, or it could keep you really full for the day. So if you're dieting, that could be a tool. But at the same time, people's pockets, college, I'm thinking, or just general population, people don't want to be spending, I don't know how much money on eggs a week. So if you buy conventional eggs, of course, it's going to be cheaper. If you buy pasture raised, it's going to be more expensive. That is the one thing I do believe that you should, if you have the money and you want to spend a little extra on something, is pasture raised eggs. They do have more vitamin A. They have a little more choline, and they do have a little bit more vitamin D. So those ones are the only thing that are nutritionally superior to the conventional ones. But if you don't have the money, regular eggs are still very, very nutritious, and I do believe they should be part of the diet. These ones should be very common. Fruits, some of my favorites and the best antioxidant profile, micronutrient profile: blackberries, blueberries, kiwis, mangoes, raspberries, cantaloupe, and strawberries. Mango and cantaloupe, think orange or reddish type things. Like For example, sweet potatoes. I know potatoes are a vegetable, but I'm just going to go with this regard. Anything like that, red or orange, like carrots, for example, are down here. They are really high in vitamin A. So that is one micronutrient that you get from those. Like, for example, blackberries have a really good high amount of vitamin E and vitamin K. And vitamin C. Most berries have high vitamin C as well, along with citrus fruits. Blueberries, they have a great antioxidant profile as well, along with some good vitamin C and fiber. All these are great fiber options as well. Kiwi is the basically goat fruit, I believe. It has more vitamin C than any fruit, more potassium than banana and avocado, and it is a huge filler, and it just tastes really, really good. Like I said, mango is really good. Raspberries, really, really sweet. I think one of the highest fiber fruits as well. The highest naturally sugar content as well. But the fructose, aka the sugar in the fruit, is not something you need to worry about. It's not making you fat. Cantaloupe, like I said, high vitamin A, high vitamin C. Strawberries, good antioxidant profile and high vitamin C as well. And I recommend about 2-3 cups a day minimum. And then getting into vegetables, any leafy green stuff like broccoli, spinach, asparagus. There's cauliflower, there's carrots, there's peas. And I also recommend 2 to 3 cups of those every single day. And then any high protein packaged meat. These Amy Lou chicken sausages are some of my favorite. They're 130 calories for 16 grams of protein each. Only thing I would say to worry about with these is it is a processed food. So it is going to have more than likely a higher sodium content. So I go around with supplements and like electrolytes and all that, sodium might be high. So watch out for that if you need to. And then any high fiber products, the Sara Lee bread is 90 calories for 2 slices or 45 calories for 1 slice. And 1 slice has about 2.5 grams of fiber. So 90 calories for 2 slices and 5 grams of fiber. And I believe like 8 grams of protein too. So I know it's like an incomplete source, but enough. Count it all for your daily protein. I'm not going to say like only count meat sources, only count whey. Like everything is total. It is a total of your daily value of protein and should be counted. All right. Step 3, what to expect. So I put the weeks 1 through 4 because that's kind of like the honeymoon period of like if you're dating a girl. Like the first few weeks are the honeymoon period. Like you're feeling good. You're feeling that lovey-dovey period. Like that's like with fat loss. Like you see that scale go down by like maybe a couple pounds every day. Like that could be a thing. If you're really obese or like have a lot of water weight and have a lot of like excess like weight on you like that, like you can lose a lot of weight in the first 4 weeks. But once that starts to slow down, you start to, you depleted most of your glycogen, you depleted a lot of the water retention, and now you're really chugging through pure fat loss. That's where the weight scale or the scale weight will start slowing down a ton. And I don't want to say that you're not losing fat those first 4 weeks, but I'm not going to say that you're not losing any either. But that I'm not going to say that you're not losing any fat, and I'm not going to say that you're like gaining fat or whatever. But you're probably not losing an extreme amount of fat. It might look like you're losing fat because you're losing water retention and water under your water subcutaneously. So you get the illusion that you lost fat, but most of it is stored glycogen in your body and stored water. So think about that. Like, yes, that is a great sign that you are on the right track. But once you see that scale weight to slow down, don't be discouraged, because I see like in the second point, scale weight versus mirror image. We go by body composition and mirror image. The scale weight is a great tool. It's a great tool to analyze how our body is working and what kind of direction we're in. But maybe you don't see the scale weight move for 3 weeks. Let's just say you're stuck at 193 pounds. I was going to say 196. I don't know why I switched, but 193. And you stayed there for 2 weeks, but like maybe you're looking at progress photos that you have and like you notice more definition, more leanness. Like you're definitely, and you tracked the bone too. Like this is obviously in the aspect or in like the concept of, or the context of tracking all your stuff and being consistent. Like you're not bullshitting yourself with your tracking. You're not lying to yourself. But if like you see that your body composition is changing, you're getting leaner, like don't change anything. Don't be discouraged by that. Always look at the mirror, and the scale weight is a tool. And why the scale goes up, like I said, you might have a meal, the last meal of the day might be high sodium, high carbohydrates. And Maybe you didn't have enough water that day, so you're maybe retaining a little bit more fluid under your skin. So maybe that's why you're holding a little bit more weight. But never just go by the scale only. Scale, mirror image over time. Things might take a few weeks to change, but if you're consistent and you're honest with yourself with the tracking, things will change over time. And like I said, adjust and attack here for the next point. For example, you might see that, hey, maybe this amount of calories, maybe this, like I said before, let's go back to the 2,800 calorie maintenance example. 2,800 calories, they will need to eat 2,300 calories for their deficit. And let's just say that 2,300 calories, like they're just staying at the same weight for 2 weeks or 3 weeks now. And like they don't see any body change in body composition. Maybe that's just a sign to say, hey, we're stuck. We adjusted. Now we need to lower our calories just a little bit more because our body has adapted, because we don't have that extra weight, we don't have the extra glycogen, because people who are heavier actually have a higher maintenance calories because it takes energy to maintain that tissue on their body. So if someone is really, really obese, it takes a lot of energy to keep all that fat on their body. So the more calories they can eat to get closer to their maintenance. So you can lower your deficit calories by 200, 300, 400, whatever you feel like is enough that it won't be crazy. You won't be crazy more hungry from that, but you can still see the scale weight or your body composition start to go down a bit. So you're doing the right thing. And then hunger and fixing it, like this is a thing that is bound to happen. Like obviously you're in a deficit and you're hungry. Hunger is expected. If you're not hungry, you're probably not in a deficit, or you might not be hungry the first week or two, but after that, you're gonna be hungry. And ways of fixing it, caffeine can help. Carbonation drinks can help. Drinking more water is usually the issue. People are not drinking enough water, and that's what's signaling the ghrelin release in their hypothalamus or the pituitary, one of the two. I forgot. My physiology and anatomy is going bonkers right now. I've spent way too much time on this, but fixing your hunger like that. And then also, like I said, hunger, bad sleep can really affect your hunger. So that's why getting sleep 8 hours, 7 to 9 hours, I always say is golden. It could be even a little less than 7. I don't care. That's really up to you. And then social events, like this is something to expect. Like you'll be invited out to ask like, hey, do you want to go out to eat? Hey, do you want to go to the bars? Like, and it all comes down to what is your priorities? Like, yes, obviously you can still have flexible dieting and go out and make a great choice. Like I'm not going to say that you can't go to Chick-fil-A and not get the grilled nuggets. Like I would be an idiot to say that you can't do that. Or like I can't say you can't go to the restaurant and order like a healthier lean protein option with some vegetables. Like I'm not saying that's not in the cards, but there are certain ways you have to think logically about that. And this is a simple way. This is a simple fat loss guide. And that would be going a little too much into it. But for that, social events, know your priorities and know the right plan of attack for maybe going out. Maybe you aren't going to drink, but you want your other friends are going to drink. Or maybe you have one drink that night and you keep it low calorie, like a seltzer or like a mixed drink, no sugar, like soda, or like a diet soda with Diet Coke and rum, or if you're going out to eat, like you maybe bank your calories for that meal, but you're not like starving yourself that day. You're smart with it. And then you're smart with your quote unquote cheat meal or going out meal. Like, yeah, you might have a burger, but you only have that burger and you have vegetables on the side instead of fries. Like you pick one over the other. Like it's finding things that fit the diet and also just being consistent or just knowing your priorities. All right, step 4 is waking up in the beginning of the day. So at wake up, I like to drink about 30 ounces of water and a scoop of electrolytes. And I say I have an asterisk and a wait for supplements section because supplements are not my first point of attack. And I like doing those last with anyone or anything. And if you don't have electrolytes, just a pinch of salt's fine. I was to say like moving around somehow, because just getting that movement in daily just helps promote maybe daily activity. So if you just get yourself moving earlier, you might promote yourself later in the day to think about moving earlier. And just getting more steps earlier in the day means less steps later in the day. So just thinking intuitively beforehand. Like I said, this just be walking outside in the morning. I do that on my training days. I do about an hour of just walking outside instead of doing planned cardio on a machine, because I like having my fatigue set to a place where it's not interfering my training. So if I did cardio before my training. That would obviously interfere it. So I like not doing that. And, or you can just pace inside your house for 5 minutes. I've done that plenty of times. And then, or you just do your planned cardio. Take any supplements or medications that are needed fasted. None that I have here or later on will be that. But if you have any medications, I'm not your doctor, so that you listen to them. Try not to look at phone for the first 10 minutes, longer if possible, honestly. You're trying to just delay that blue light interaction into your eyes. So if you can delay that and get more natural sunlight, like the sunset, don't look directly into your sun. People tell you that, they're an idiot. That can hurt your eyes, but just get sunlight somewhat absorbed onto the body. And then throughout the beginning of the day, you have your first meal. That really depends on your workout, what time it is, and person dependent. Ideally less than 8 grams of fat, or not less than 8 grams, more than 8 grams of fat that meal, because once you have your morning supplements during your first meal or after your first meal, the stuff that we have is most of them are fat soluble, meaning that there needs to be fat inside of your system in order for those to actually get activated and be useful. So if you just slam your fish oil, slam your vitamin D, slam your vitamin A, E, and K, A, D, E, and K are the fat soluble ones, and fish oils would need to be too. If you just slam those fasted, they're not doing jack. So you need to have a meal firsthand, and it needs to have some fat in it. So that's why eggs are a great idea in the morning, eggs or beef. Continuously drinking water. I always think like one of those like Kirkland bottles, like plastic ones, just drink one of those every hour. Really simple, really good idea. And I saw someone say online, like, just have a huge jug of water next to your toilet, and any single time you use the bathroom, just slam a ton of it. That's honestly a pretty good idea, but I don't know if I want a water bottle next to my toilet. But and also too, have an idea for the entire day. So what I do is I plan out my meals literally the day before. So like that night, I might just be sitting on my phone on my Macro Factor app, and I'm planning out like, okay, I'm going to have this at this time. This, like, I know exactly what I'm eating for the next day. So I have a plan of attack and I know what I'm doing. All right, step 5 is just exercise and energy simplified. This will probably be the most basic thing because I'm not going to tell you at all. It's simple. I'm not going to tell you an exact training program. Like, what's the best way? This is the best way, but it's super simple. Weight training 2 to 5 times a week. This could be 2 times full body. This could be whatever split you want 5 times a week. But anything more than 5 times a week is overkill, and you probably would not be able to recover from it. Anything less than 2 times a week is probably not enough support muscle function and support non-muscle breakdown. And then cardio, I also like to do cardio. This could be anywhere between 3 to 6 to 7. Oh my gosh, 6, 7, 6, 7 times a week. This can be any cardio machine. This can be running, and it should be higher intensity. You should be breaking a sweat. You should still be able to have a conversation with someone, but it should be, like I can feel my heart rate up. Like I also say like 130 to like 150 heart rate usually, but that doesn't mean heart rate doesn't mean like more fat loss, where, it's just a higher perception of effort. That's what we're going for. And then there's step counts and walks. I like a step count for me personally of total step count of 15,000. That includes like any planned cardio or like whatever, like, I have encompassed for the day. So step count 15,000. I go on walks all the time. That is not cardio. That is part of my step count. And then here's a little quote that I actually had about cardio. Cardio, it's the keys, not the engine. What I mean by that is, cardio is like the keys to a car. You could start, it helps start the car, or it helps start the car, but the engine, aka your basal metabolic rate, your BMR, is what actually runs the car, aka it runs the fat loss, it runs your calories. And that goes back to the step counts and walks, as like that's not part of your this example. So, or it is part of the example, but let me explain. So right here, like I said, we'd be coming back from the on slide 1, I said we'd be coming back to the TDEE, your total daily energy expenditure. And here it is. And what makes this so funny is that people believe that they need to do endless amounts of cardio, endless amounts of exercise to achieve fat loss. But if you take a look here, your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, aka how much calories and how much energy it takes for you to just live, for your organs to function and run, for your brain to function and run, like that takes up 70% of your calories, of your total calories that you burn a day. And then your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT, aka your step count, just walking in the grocery store, walking in school, like you do not plan any of this exercise at all. It's just
happens to happen without you thinking. That is about 70 to 90%, about 20%. And then this little tiny portion right here, the TEF, thermogenic effect of food, that's how much energy and calories it takes for your body to digest the food you ate. So protein being the highest example of that because it contains nitrogen inside of it, and it takes longer to digest and break down those bonds. And then EAT right here is your exercise activity thermogenesis. And that is literally cardio. So that takes up 10, like not even 10%, 5% of your total daily energy expenditure. So if you took whatever percentage of your, whatever your maintenance calorie is for the day, take 5% of that, and that's what you get from cardio. So that's why I always say it's the keys, not the engine. It helps run the car. It helps turn on the car, might get you going. Cardio might help get that fat loss going, but it's not the engine. It's not what's actually running the fat loss. It's not what's running the car. The BMR is. So you could not do any exercise, eat in a calorie deficit still, and lose weight. Step 6 is just workout nutrition. About 1 to 4 hours before you work out, specifically for working out. This is just a model here. Like it could be 50, 60 grams of carbs, 25 to 50 grams of protein to support muscle protein synthesis and to not have muscle breakdown for the workout. And then ideally 10 or less grams of fat. And it is person dependent because some people might burn through fat faster than someone else. Their digestion might just digest it quicker than other people, but it does slow down digestion for everyone, but to a certain degree for other people. So I like to keep that lower because we want digestion clean. We do not want any bloatingness. Like we don't want any like gut, like digestion issues. We don't want any like gut discomfort when we're working out. We want our gut feeling perfectly fine. We want our stomach feeling perfectly fine, not too full. We don't want ourselves feeling too empty or too hungry. Obviously, if you're like in a contest prep for bodybuilding, like if you're 6 weeks out, yeah, you're going to be damn hungry. Like that just comes with the territory. But Gen Pop people, you should be satiated. You shouldn't be hungry, and you should be not too full. And then we should have low to no fiber carb sources, like minimal fruit. Now I'll go back to the 30 minutes before training. Low to no fat carb sources. Like people always say chicken and rice. This is go the chicken and rice lore. Like people laugh and mock at that, but chicken and rice is literally like one of the best pre-workout sources of food that you can have because chicken breast is low to no fat, high protein, and rice is low to no fat and great digesting carbs with no fiber because fiber will slow down digestion and there's basically no fiber. There is no fiber in rice. So you can digest that really, 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 really quick while eating a high volume amount of food. And then about 30 minutes or under before training. Like I said, you could have a kiwi. That's what I usually do about 30 minutes before training. When I'm on the way to the gym, I just have a kiwi. That's like 60 grams, I believe it weighs. And then pre-workout and caffeine. This can be under supplements, but I'm not going to because I don't want to tell people to have pre-workout. Pre-workout is one of those things where it can be a great tool. Pre-workout and caffeine, they're the same thing, but there is non-caffeinated pre-workout or non-stimulating pre-workouts or non-stimulant pre-workouts, I mean. But at the end of the day, they're not necessary whatsoever. They can totally help with perception of effort and stuff like that. And caffeine does seem to help, but it most seems to be caffeine that does that. And obviously there's a lot of blood flow ingredients in there that do help with blood flow and all that other stuff. But I do not think pre-workout is very necessary. And if you're on a budget, like literally going online and buying 100 milligram capsules or tablets of caffeine is probably better bang for your buck. So pre-workout, yes and no. And also too, caffeine should not be taken 8 to 10 hours before bed. So what I kind of do is, because I go to bed around the same time every night, I usually go to bed either at 9 o'clock or anywhere between 10 and 11. It really depends, like 12 o'clock at the latest, like on the weekend. So like I'm getting a great 8 hours of sleep. Sorry if that shook there. I kind of hit my computer. But like I never have caffeine after like 12 or 2 o'clock is usually like that window, like depending on the day. So because I value my sleep so much, caffeine has a half-life of 4 to 5 hours. If I have at 12 o'clock, if I have 400 milligrams of caffeine, which I only have about 200 to 300 milligrams a day, 400 at a high day, but 400 is the recommended daily intake or the highest amount of intake. Your the UL, the upper limit of caffeine is 400 milligrams per day for like men, I believe, or just anyone. So like that would be a crazy amount. But just imagine if you had 400 milligrams at 12 p.m. At around 4 to 5 o'clock, there would still be about 200 milligrams in your system. And then 4 or 5 hours later of that, 10 o'clock, there would be 100 milligrams still in your system. So the half-life is something you have to pay attention to. And basically, if it affects, I always go like this. Play around with how caffeine affects your body. If you have caffeine at 5 o'clock p.m. and you feel like you can't fall asleep that night, try doing it or try stopping earlier. But if you feel like if you have caffeine at 3 o'clock and you fall asleep perfectly fine, keep doing that by all means. But it's person dependent. But I always like saying around 8 to 10 hours before bed is the cutoff window. And then an intra-workout shake. If you're cutting, you don't need any intra-workout carbs, I feel like. But an intra-workout EAA shake might be beneficial. But again, like balling on a budget, Gen Pop, you don't need one. I just wanted to say that intra-workout because I feel like I might get a comment being like, what about an intra-workout? If you're dieting, no, you want to have food. Post-workout is similar to the pre-workout meal, but this one can be heavier in fat. So you're not working out anymore and you don't want your digestion and your gut distress to be limited. So yes, you can have a little slower digesting meal with the higher fat post-workout because you're not working out after that time. And then step 7, nighttime and sleep. Stop eating 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. Your body takes energy to digest food. Like I said, the thermogenic effect of food. So if you just ate a somewhat big meal or even like a decent meal and then try going to bed, your body is spending so much time heating up itself because creating energy creates heat as well, heating up your body, and your body needs a cool environment to fall asleep. So your body temperatures, internal body temperature actually needs to cool down. Your body needs to cool down a little bit, and that's going to be heating your body up more, and i.e. reducing sleep effectiveness or falling asleep effectiveness. And then reducing blue light activity, putting your dang phone away. Like I always do it about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. I have the red light setting on my phone, and then I also have my phone limited to put it away. I usually have a podcast on low volume and I have the sleep timer on Spotify. So I know that I don't have to turn it off myself and I can just have it away, listen to it, dark room. Like I hear sleep in a dark room. I have the dark room, listening to my podcast. And if I do have my phone on before bed, like if I'm like in bed and I still have the lights on and stuff like that, I will have these blue light glasses that will help reduce blue light activity. They are a little expensive, the legit ones. So that's why I didn't put it like in here that you have to have it, but I just had a picture of it. So it's sleeping in a dark room. I kind of skipped the nighttime supplements, but I'll talk about that last. And then mouth tape. I know it's kind of been memed and you see it on like TikTok Shop. A lot of those TikTok Shop ones are the ones you see that are advertised. Like they're supposed to be fancy versions of it, but you're buying like 30 strips or 30 mouth strips for like $30 or like $20. Literally, I put a screenshot of this up here. I use 3M micropore tape. You can literally get a box of 12 of them for $10. Like, I think I got like, I'm not even done with, I got like a big 3-roll pack of it and I'm literally not even done with it. And it's been over a year. So you don't need to buy any expensive thing. And the pack I bought was the 3M and it literally costs like, I think it was $4 on Amazon. Like, so these companies are scamming you. And then lastly, take nighttime supplements 60 minutes before bed. And see supplement section, which we are here. And here I have the mandatories, and mandatories are going to be in color, and the red ones are going to be taken in the morning, and the nighttime ones are going to be, or the blue ones are going to be taken at nighttime. And to start off the red ones, we have fish oils. Most of them are around 300 milligrams per capsule of fatty acid, EPA and DHA. So you would want to get ones that are around 1.5 to 3 grams combined. And I do have a picture of this brand up here, NutriCost. Any of these supplements, go on Amazon and just look up the supplement in NutriCost, and you should be able to find one that is the cheapest. That's the cheapest, best brand you can find. It is, all of them are third-party tested, so you know what you're getting is legit, and it's the cheapest and most like bulk products that you can buy out there. So obviously cheaper, and they're really good products. And it's on Amazon, so free shipping as well, fast shipping. Please get NutriCost, get it on Amazon. But you want to get about 1.5 to 3 grams of EPA and DHA combined. That'll say total fatty acids. The Kirkland one that it says 1,000 milligrams of like total ones. That's not just talking about total like fatty acid combinations. We're not talking about the omega 3s, which is the EPA and DHA. So you would want to, so like usually they have about 300 milligrams of those in like the Kirkland ones. You would have to take about 7-8 of those to get the effect. So if you don't want to have 7-8 fish oil capsules in the morning and have the fishy burps potentially, just get this like NutriCost one, or ones that are like, you look at the label, and like this one, for example, I use the NutriCost one. It is about 2,000 milligrams of combined omega 3s. That is fine by me. And it's only 3 capsules. So, or 3 soft gels. So really simple, really easy. Next up is creatine. Like I said, NutriCost, but EcoVision does have a flavored one. More expensive. If you like flavored ones, you can. I use the flavored one just because I have a bunch of other stuff mixed in with my powders, so it makes it taste better. But NutriCost, super cheap. Get that one. 5 to 10 grams daily. You don't need to load it or anything. Just take it consistently every single day. Next up for the mandatory is vitamin D3, 5,000 IUs. Just get a soft gel of that. And then vitamin K2, 100 to 150 micrograms. Some might be more, some might be less. Just minimum 100, maximum 200. You don't really have to worry about it. And then I'll skip these middle ones and go into the blue. Magnesium glycinate is the only nighttime supplement that I recommend, and 200 to 400 milligrams of it nightly. That is the only one I recommend nighttime because that is the only one that it is a mineral in our body. It is technically electrolyte, magnesium is, but we are so deficient in it because it is very hard to get through our food, and supplementing this at nighttime actually promotes sleepiness and helps more restful sleep. So people feel tired when they take this, take it during nighttime. And then these middle ones here that are gray, underlined, and bolded are optional. And the 2 that have asterisks on it, I'll talk about last. So optional N-acetylcysteine, or NAC, it was shortened named. It's 600 to 1,200 milligrams. It could be as well, but 600 milligrams is usually a good dose. A myriad of benefits of this supplement. Liver detox. It is N-acetylcysteine is a precursor to a powerful antioxidant called glutathione. So that can help liver detox. It can help lung detox. It can help just a lot of, it can help testosterone production and support. So there is a lot more benefits that I probably am not thinking of that are associated with N-acetylcysteine. So I take it every day, and I think you could, but you don't have to. Next up is a sleep aid powder or capsule. They are a little expensive, but if you find yourself maybe more into a diet and struggling sleeping or staying asleep, a sleep aid powder could definitely help for sure, but not necessary. And I put asterisks here by protein powder and electrolytes because protein powder, I'll start off with first, it can be a great tool for getting your daily protein powder in, but you should not use it as a crutch. You should not be having 3, 4, 5 meals as protein powder because you're missing out on a lot of the micronutrients and the minerals and stuff like that come with red meat, chicken, the trace minerals come from chicken, like tuna, that all that good stuff that comes with that. You're just stripping away and getting only protein and amino acids, obviously because amino acids are in protein. You're just getting that in the calories and some trace fat and trace carbs in the protein powder, and not getting the vitamins and minerals that come with it, come with whole foods. So protein powder, I say use it, but use it wisely and use it sparingly, or use it as needed. And then electrolytes are pushed a lot, and I think they are very useful, but they're pushed and marketed towards the wrong types of people. They're marketed towards people that are overweight and obese, that are already eating a very high sodium diet. So these electrolytes that people are pushing are high in sodium because sodium is electrolyte, potassium is an electrolyte, chloride's electrolyte, magnesium electrolyte. Those are the 4 that are in there. And you have those 4, and if they're usually high in sodium, they're usually around 700 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Like the LMNT ones, those sticks, those are around 1,000 milligrams of sodium. So if people are already having a high sodium diet, they do not need electrolyte powders. If you're not sweating every single day, if you're not sweating and trying doing daily exercise, sweating and losing electrolytes through sweat, because if you sweat, you lose a lot of electrolytes. But if you're not sweating, you do not need an electrolyte packet. And you're just going to be retaining more water, and you're going to look at yourself and be like, why do I look so bad? Like I'm taking electrolytes. Like, what do you mean? Like people think electrolytes are a cure all end all for whatever they're doing. Like, no, Electrolytes do not fix any obesity problem. Like any supplement or drug only works if you work. So none of these will work or get you in shape unless you work and do the work yourself. And then that is all. Like I said, like make sure any of your things are third party tested. That is a huge sign that your supplements are legit. And then this is the end. This is a little graph I found online. Dr. Nadolowski, it's his thing, so I don't want to steal anything from him. But weight loss, here's a little thing. People expect it to just be like a straight linear line down, but it kind of looks like this. And like I said, the scale weight might not reflect what your body looks like, but it's all just about being consistent. Like the scale weight is only one way to track progress. Like I said, like this says down here, body circumference, like your body composition, progress pictures, and like strength progress. Like if you're getting stronger, like you're going to be gaining some muscle. Like don't get me wrong, like if you're a newbie, you can be gaining strength like pretty easily and pretty rapidly quick. But like if you see a rep increase here and there, like there's progress happening. Like strength increase doesn't mean fat loss. Like those two are completely separate. But like strength training along with dieting, that's a great combo for fat loss. And that's where I'll leave it here. And I really hope you enjoyed this because I enjoyed recording this. This is a long video, but I really had a fun time creating this and talking about this.